I am exactly on time. It is 9 p.m. and we have history and politics going on. Like, share, subscribe. Dr. Darnell Bolton, PhD. I had an excellent class at the university where we were unpacking. I tr- we were covering in this class the Cold War, and I'm trying to get one class is covering the Cold War, the other class is in Manifest Destiny, and I'm trying to show how politics and the only thing history is a social science, and it's showing behavior, right? And it's only so many behaviors that we can do before we begin to repeat them. And because people study human behavior and study techniques and successes, people purposefully repeat certain activities. And in my second class, that was covering the Cold War, we had an analysis of how things were happening then, things were happening now. And it is in that class where a particular student asked me, why are we studying all this stuff if we can't do anything about it? And this was the perfect opportunity for me to illustrate that you're not going to do anything. If you were alive then, you wasn't going to do nothing about it because you're alive now and you're not doing anything about it. Most people go along with what's going on. Ignore it if it's not my problem. How could there be people in the North when it was slavery going on in the South and the people in the North didn't say nothing? The same way that Trump is deporting people to a country they don't know and nobody's saying nothing about it. The same way he's saying, oh, I'd like to do that to Americans and nobody's saying nothing about it. We have heard more vitriol from white America when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, who was a second string quarterback, took a knee on the sideline, not even on the field, on the sideline, than we've heard about discriminatory regulations being repealed. White people saying nothing about it. But we're in a post-racial society. All of these, I'm not racist white people, I didn't do it white people, where are they? For that matter, where are the black people? And that's kind of what we covered in the last video, but that's the context in this conversation that we were holding today, which is this press release that came from the White House. And this is an article that we covered before, but this was a different analysis. Ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. That is the headline. Now, first, illegal. If something is illegal or not is not the job of the president to decide. That's a job for the judiciary. Why is the president controlling a matter of legality without a dissent from the portion of government whose jurisdiction that is? How can he end something being illegal? That's not his area. So now, not only are the people not saying this, the populace, but the persons whose job it is not saying anything. We had more of an uproar over one American, George Floyd, and I'm down with the George Floyd issue, but something that is affecting millions of Americans, nobody is saying anything. And this is a structural argument. When you get into, oh, that's not right, that's not fair, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, that's a matter of perspective, that's a matter of opinion, that's a matter of possibility and probability. But in this ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity, restoring merit-based opportunity, let's look into that, because we've already looked at the White House's own title, that you're going to end something that's illegal and that's not your area. And you're going to restore merit-based opportunity. When did the United States have merit-based opportunity? Was it the Philadelphia Plan, when Richard Nixon had to put in place that these unions could not get federal contracts if they didn't allow black people in the union? Is that when things were merit-based? Because it's saying that they're restoring merit-based opportunity. Was it merit-based when women couldn't vote until 1920? Is it merit-based when Native Americans were regulated to reservations? Is it merit-based when about 800 million acres of land was taken from Mexico and resolved with a treaty, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, at gunpoint? Was that merit-based? When was it merit-based when white people were getting millions of acres of land to develop in the West? Is that when the United States was merit-based? Because they were given that land. Was it merit-based when they used government money to create state universities that white people could attend for free to work the land that they got for free? And when black people could go, when women could go, when Latinos could go, when Native Americans could go, they started charging tuition. Look up, Google on your phone, when did universities start charging tuition? It was right after Brown versus Board of Education. State universities. So when was it merit-based? Was it merit-based when all of these white people were getting land? When they were going to college for free? Is that when it was merit-based? Was it merit-based during the 1960s when they were shooting water hoses and sicking dogs on us, and we had Plessy versus Ferguson? Was Plessy versus Ferguson merit-based? Was it merit-based when the insurance companies were redlining? Tell me when was it merit-based that we're going back to? Tell me that. Because we're restoring the merit base. Now, in here, in this article, it says, as president, I have the solemn duty to ensure that these laws are enforced for the benefit of all Americans. All Americans. Yet today, roughly 60 years after the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, critical influential institutions, American society, including the federal government, major corporations, financial institutions, blah, 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 institutions of higher education, have developed actively use dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex-based preferences under the guise of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, or diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, DEIA, that can violate civil rights laws of this nation. So, DEI is just like when they were saying, just think about it, it was just 2.5 years ago, DEI was CRT. And before CRT, it was affirmative action. This is basically white folks who are pissed because somebody is getting an opportunity that they feel they're not getting. That's what, when you hear DEI, when you hear CRT, these are clearly uneducated people that have nothing to do with it, because DEI has nothing to do with the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Affirmative action had something to do with Civil Rights Act. Affirmative action came under Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson. It has nothing to do with the 21st century. So, you're saying you are the president and you have to enforce equality for all Americans, but your issue is with diversity, equity, and inclusion. How can you function for all Americans if you are against policies that include, designed to include? How are you making sure everybody has an equal stake in society if the playing field is not equitable? And how are you representing everybody if it's not diverse? This is what I'm saying. We have to stop blaming Donald Trump. The only way Donald Trump can do this is if the bulk of the American people want it. Donald Trump is not doing anything he did not say he was going to do. And the American people are voting for it. They are supporting it. This is the attitude, because this is not, oh, well, his approval rating is low. No, you know when somebody got a bad approval rating? COVID. When somebody got a bad approval rating, George Floyd. Those of you who are old enough, O.J. Simpson. Those of you who are old enough, Rodney King. The NFL taking the knee. Oh, we're not hearing about this. You may hear television pundits. You may have a couple of scholars talking about it. But this is just this is not Fox News, this isn't CNN, this is the United States White House. Just in the title alone. But also, in American jurisprudence, the law, you are supposed to function without passion or prejudice. I see the American people equally. I'm going to defend my client to the best of my ability. In this case, I'm going to serve my client as the president. Dangerous, demeaning, immoral. Let's take the 13th Amendment. I can remember that off the top of my head. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except if instituted by punishment of a crime that has been duly adjudicated, should not exist in the United States or any of its territories. There's no passion or prejudice in there. It's just law. But it wasn't horrible slavery and immoral involuntary servitude. That type of verbiage is not legalese. Anytime somebody is putting forth a policy, and within the policy, it is telling you what's good or bad, it's an opinion. It is not designed for all, as this states. As president, I have a solemn duty to ensure that these laws are enforced for the benefit of all Americans. This is to make America great again. I just want to know when again was. Was it during, you apologized for the war on drugs and mass incarceration, so that wasn't great. And before that was the 60s. That wasn't great. Before that was Jim Crow and Plessy versus Ferguson. That wasn't great. Before that was convict leasing. That wasn't great. Before that was slavery. That wasn't great. In all of that time, up until 1920, women couldn't vote. That wasn't great. Up until, I guess, the mid-1800s, we had coverture, where when a woman got married, all of her property and belonging went to men. She couldn't do business on her own. Men had to do business in their stead. That wasn't great. Native Americans were being murdered and reduced to reservations and then put into assimilation schools where they were horribly sexually and physically abused up until the 1970s. That wasn't great. Oh, let's not forget about the Japanese internment camps. That wasn't great. The taking of Mexico, that wasn't great. What is this great time? And who is offended by saying these things happen and now we have to make concessions because for 200 years, men were accumulating wealth. Well, now we have to make concessions for women to be able to catch up, which is how you close the wealth gap. If we just say, okay, we're going to stop doing it and we both move forward, the wealth gap stays there. We're moving forward. Who is it that's not in these DEI laws? White people. That's who's mad. Now, it's really strange with the women thing. But again, that's not too strange because remember, the 19th Amendment came. Women didn't get the right to vote. White women got the right to vote. All the rest of the women didn't get to vote until 1965, which means white women, when they got their right to vote, fought against black women and Latino women and Native American women and Asian women to get their right to vote for 45 years. So, why the silence in this post-racial society? And who's mad? Who are the people that's being treated unfairly? What white Americans have a problem with diversity in one of the most diverse countries ever? What white people have a problem with equity? What white people have a problem with inclusion? So again, where are all of my non-racist good white people that are misunderstood? Where are all of the white Americans that tell me that if they lived in the time of slavery that they would not be watching these things go on? If they lived in the times of the 60s, they would not be going on. They would be revolutionaries. They would be out there picketing. They would be out there protesting. And as easy as it is, you get a phone, boom. We don't like this. This is when we get to see who people really are. And this is what our country is. When I was in Europe, that's what I was telling them. It's not Donald Trump. This is our country. This is how our country feels. They agree with it. Like, share, and subscribe. Be here tomorrow, 9 p.m. History and Politics.